This is CBC Here and Now.
To me, this is one outbreak that we've been managing over time. From where I sit, I'm seeing this as an outbreak.
Health officials confirm coronavirus spread at a ward at St. Clare's Hospital.
Here and Now has learned at least 8 people connected with the unit have tested positive.
All indications are that the outbreak has not resulted in community spread in the rest of the province. We will therefore start to ease restrictions outside the Avalon.
Restrictions will ease in most of the province, but the Avalon stays in lockdown.
We'll also have details of the next phase of the vaccine rollout. We'll tell you when you'll qualify for it.
And new rules for students and teachers going back to class.
We're going to break it all down.
Quiet start to the weekend, but as we head through Sunday, more snow is on the way for the island.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Peter Cowan.
And I'm Carolyn Stokes. Well, a lot is changing with the COVID situation in the province right now. We start tonight with the alert levels.
That's right. The lockdown continues on the Avalon tonight, but other areas are seeing their restrictions start to ease. East of the Isthmus will remain in level 5 lockdown. That was brought in 2 weeks ago. Areas west of that are going to start to reopen. As of midnight tonight, they'll move into alert level 4. Even with just 4 new cases of COVID announced in the eastern region, Dr. Fitzgerald says she couldn't open the whole province up.
Do look for an extended period of time with a significant decrease in cases, and we just haven't had that time under our belt yet to see what's happening. We want to, I think with this variant, given what we've seen about its spread so far and how easy it is to spread, we want to really take our time and make sure that when we come out of this, that it will be safe to do so.
So what does alert level 4 mean? Well, if you're off the Avalon, non-essential stores can reopen at reduced capacity. Personal care services like spas, hair salons, and tattoo parlors can reopen. Bars and restaurants are going to remain closed for in-person dining, so are gyms and fitness studios. Official gatherings are limited to 10 people. Informal gatherings, they are still banned, and there is no double bubble this time around. Dr. Janice Fitzgerald says you can only interact with people outside of your household if it's for essential reasons. So a dinner party or a social get-together is still out.
A lot of the transmission that's happening is within those small social groups as well as gatherings, and especially with this variant, we're seeing a lot of very quick and easy transmission in those small social groups. So we're really trying to limit the potential spread. As we open up, as we try to get the society back to functioning as it should, we're trying to limit that if a case of a variant did happen to show up here, we would limit that spread as much as possible, and we feel this is the best way to do that.
Now, the COVID situation has improved today. Those 4 new cases is the smallest increase we've seen in 20 days, and that was offset by 48 new recoveries. The number of active cases continues to fall. There are now 287 active cases, but unfortunately the number in hospital goes up. There are now 11 people in hospital because of COVID, 5 in the ICU. Dr. Fitzgerald says that is concerning.
It is concerning. We certainly have heard that there have been reports that this variant can cause more severe disease, and when we're looking at our hospitalizations and ICU admissions, we are seeing them a little earlier than we would have had expected based on the original strain. The original strain, where that lag time was a little bit longer. We're seeing a little bit earlier in disease. So we're watching this very closely.
Well, on top of people admitted to hospital because of COVID-19, some people who tested positive were already in hospital for other reasons. Eastern Health is confirming an outbreak of fewer than 10 patients and staff at St. Clare's Mercy Hospital in St. John's. Now, sources close to the hospital say 2 patients at the facility tested positive and were moved to the Health Sciences Center yesterday. Another nurse at St. Clare's was confirmed positive today. Here and Now's Mark Quinn reports.
The 2 cases yesterday and 1 today bring the total number of cases linked to St. Clare's to at least 7. 8, including another case Eastern Health CEO David Diamond says was identified in a patient after they were discharged from hospital. Diamond repeatedly called what has happened at St. Clare's this month an outbreak, but he also said he believes it has been contained.
We're absolutely horrified that anybody would, the thought of anybody being infected, being a patient in our care is for certainly for the frontline staff and for the organization we're very disturbed by that.
Eastern Health says the ward where the outbreak happened, 6 East, is not taking new patients. The health authority says once the handful of patients who are there now are discharged, the ward will be closed for at least 28 days. Staff at the hospital is being tested for the virus. Eastern Health infectious disease specialist Dr. Natalie Bridger says protective equipment will make it possible for 6 East staff members to continue working while they're waiting for test results.
Since this started on February 8th, we've had all the patients on contact and droplet precautions. So what that means is that every time anybody goes to see one of those patients, they need to don full personal protective equipment required for contact and droplet precautions. And so the personal protective equipment side of things has been something that's been protective from having to send multiple staff home over the course of the past few weeks.
The first positive case of a St. Clare's staff member was identified February 8th. That was a staff member who was at work waiting for the results of a COVID test after a possible exposure outside the hospital. They were told they were positive while they were at work. Eastern Health CEO David Diamond confirmed last week that the staff member didn't break any regulations. The advice from health authorities at the time was that they could return to work while waiting for their test result. Diamond says a link between that staff member and subsequent positive cases has not been established. He promised Eastern Health will give public updates as the investigation into the St. Clare's outbreak continues. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
So what do these latest developments mean for students and teachers? Well, for those on the Avalon, where Alert Level 5 remains in effect, nothing will change for at least the next 2 weeks. At-home online instruction will continue. But students and teachers in the rest of the province, where Alert Level 4 will take effect, will be heading back to class with modified safety measures. So on Wednesday, March 3rd, in-class instruction will resume for schools in Central, the West, and Labrador. Students in grades 4 to 12 will be required to wear masks for the entire day, even while sitting at their desk. Students in kindergarten to grade 3 will be encouraged to wear face masks all day, but it's not mandatory, though they will be expected to wear a mask on the school bus. All teachers and staff will be required to wear Level 1 medical masks plus face shields at all times within instructional spaces.
I would say that Dr. Fitzgerald and Public Health and the Minister and the Premier have worked very hard to, while we can't say today that it's fully under control, they've largely controlled the spread, and we can see that as evidenced by the numbers that are reported on a daily basis. I trust the guidance of Public Health and our Chief Medical Officer of Health. It's been proven. And, with the additional protocols that are put in place, I believe that our schools are as safe as they can be.
Well, not all students outside the Avalon will have daily classroom instruction. The English School District says some grades 7 to 12 classes that are unable to cohort or physically distance students by 2 meters will resort to a blended in-class at-home learning model.
Scenario 2 is essentially 50% of the grade levels or the population affected attending on a given day. So you follow your regular schedule and then you attend on alternating days. And how that breaks down in practicality is Monday, Wednesday, Friday for one group, and then that group then the next week go to school on Tuesday and Thursday. Ordinarily, it's a 14-day cycle for most schools, and all of the curriculum interaction will occur within those 14 days. It's just that it's going to be 50% of the time. In the days when students are not attending school face-to-face, part of the pedagogy will be assigning the work, the readings, the preparation in an asynchronous sort of on your own fashion at home.
Meanwhile, the Provincial Teachers Association says some parts of the new back-to-school plan still need to be worked out. The NLTA supports keeping Avalon schools online, and it's happy to see increased safety measures in areas that are reopening. But President Dean Ingram says schools are still following different safety guidelines than other public spaces.
We absolutely have concerns about the ability of many schools to maintain effective student cohorting. We have concerns about the degree to which they're able to be challenged to respect proper physical distancing. And we got concerns about how we'll maintain ventilation procedures. So there are still some unanswered questions, and over the weekend, I'm hoping to get some answers to some questions, engaging with the authorities or our staff to do so.
Well, let's start talking about vaccines. Who's eligible for them, and probably more importantly, when? Well, tonight we have a better idea. Dr. Fitzgerald and John Haggie say ideally everyone in the province will get a COVID-19 vaccine, and a rollout strategy has been deployed. That vaccination plan was unveiled today, so let's take a look. They're ramping up vaccinations for those eligible in long-term care right now. Those vaccinations are expected to be completed in the next week or so. The same goes for all the essential healthcare workers. So let's look at phase 2. These are the people who can expect to be vaccinated sometime between April and June. That'll include anyone over the age of 60, but they're going to start with priority given to those 80 and over first. Adults who identify as First Nations, Inuit, or Métis, you're included. So too is anyone with ties to congregate living, so that's shelters, group homes, or correctional facilities. If you live, work, or are an essential visitor in one of those places, you'll be able to get a shot in phase 2. First responders are also included in that, as well as frontline healthcare workers who've not yet been immunized. Clinically vulnerable people, so have severe underlying health conditions between the ages of 16 and 59, are going to be included. If you regularly travel in and out of the province for work, you're also going to be included. Same with frontline essential workers who have direct contact with the public, so they can't work from home. Dr. Fitzgerald indicates that teachers will fall into that category, and, as we just mentioned, rotational workers are included as well. Dr. Fitzgerald explained why.
We knew that certainly these groups that worked away and were coming back to the province frequently and working in areas with higher prevalence posed a risk. That was our greatest risk of importation and our greatest risk of outbreak. So from a protection of the population point of view, having those workers who are traveling away to work, having them protected from the vaccine seemed to be a good strategy to reduce our overall risk.
So let's look at phase 3 now. Those are people who can expect to be vaccinated sometime between July and September, and it kind of is just everyone else. People left over from phases 1 and 2, and anyone over the age of 16. So who's next to roll up their sleeves and get vaccinated in the next couple of weeks? Well, it'll be people over 85 in central and western parts of the province, and people over 75 in the Labrador-Grenfell Health region. Both can register next week. Those in phase 2 will also need to pre-register. So you can go online or call the health authority to register. The website's up on the screen there, and they're opening up registration in order of last name. So it's not first come, first served, so you don't need to worry that you need to rush up and do it right away.
Well, as Peter mentioned, today's news means the province will soon be split into separate alert levels. The Avalon will remain at alert level 5 for at least 2 weeks, and starting midnight tonight, everyone else will bump back to level 4. Gander and Area Chamber of Commerce Chair Sheldon Hancock had been pushing for restrictions to lift outside St. John, so he was happy to see retail can reopen under the new rules, and he supports the fact that bars and restaurants have to stay closed for now.
But there are certain sectors that are a greater risk than other sectors. So, we have to support those decisions. I mean, public health is number one, and and that is our outlook on it as well. It has to be public health first. And then, the economy obviously is a second, but those decisions for restaurants and bars, restaurants can still do their takeout orders. And I think that they've gotten quite a bit better from the last lockdown at being able to do curbside orders and that type of thing.
Well, let's take a little bit of a break from some of the COVID news and talk about a little different topic. Some people in Western Labrador found a pandemic-safe way to keep busy and healthy during the lockdown. Town organizers in Labrador City and Wabash organized a walking event for February.
Yes, February is Heart Health Month, and organizers wanted people to get outside and get moving. The Let's Get Moving event started before the latest lockdown, but it was designed with COVID safety in mind.
Organizers set a goal for residents they could walk enough steps to cross the country, while video producer Daryl Din put together this look at their challenge.
We thought about this idea in January. We have improved our trails here in Labrador West, and they were just so lovely that we wanted people to take part in it. And it just wrapped around our February Heart Health Month, where we could actually say to people, okay, get out, take part, participate, get out to those trails and have a look at them. And it certainly went very well. So basically all we had was people to submit their kilometers each day. We just wanted people to get up, get active, get busy, and keep their mind fresh every day. It really certainly helps to make you feel better when you do those things.
We've been doing some skiing, cross country, and lots of walking on the trails, and even some intertown running.
And how many kilometers do you think you got under your belt in February?
Oh, I would say easy over 100 kilometers.
At the beginning, our kilometers were around 300 to 400 during those weeks. And then to the middle of the month, when we started really getting that out there and people knowing about the trails, and the weather certainly has cooperated here in Labrador West. We've had beautiful weather. So the numbers went from 300 to 400 kilometers a day to 5, 6, 7, and 8, and now we're up to 900 kilometers a day. So it's wonderful participation.
And with the lockdown 5, do you think that helped your numbers, getting everyone out since they had nothing else to do?
Absolutely, and I think just you know, when people were on the trail, just noticing how beautiful it was, it just encouraged them to continue coming out. And now we're seeing not just one person, but like their family is coming with them, which is lovely to see. It's not just one, or you know, it's everybody. It's wonderful. We actually started out with just going from Labrador West out to BC, which was wonderful. We thought that was great, and we actually worked hand in hand with Wabash, and so we decided that we would go that far, and we thought that would be wonderful. Well, we reached that goal quite easily by the middle of the month, so we had to come back.
Did you make that goal?
Oh my goodness, with ease. We are ecstatic we made it. I could have jumped up and down when I came into work and figured it out. We've made it and we've exceeded it. We did fabulous. Thank you to the community for participating. We are so proud of our community.
She's like, it's cold.
Well, coming up next, a few more photos to share showing how you're managing lockdown.
That's after Ashley's weekend weather forecast. Stay with us.
A beautiful winter day across most of the island, even up through Labrador. Let's take a look at the temperatures this afternoon, reaching a high near 1 degree in St. John's. Those temperatures just a little bit below zero as you head towards the west coast, and then into those minus teens for most of Labrador. That's where we're sitting right now temperature-wise, but note these temperatures are starting to drop for eastern areas of the island and will continue to do so as we head through the overnight tonight, as we have some colder air moving in. This colder air is actually why we're seeing some of the snow squalls. We saw some heavier bands earlier today for the Avalon. We're starting to see some of those bands as well along the west coast. More activity, more onshore flurry activity there and some squalls. But as we head through the overnight tonight, that should improve evening hours for the Avalon and then overnight across the western portions of the island. But after that, not a whole lot on the go tonight. We'll see some cloudy periods, beautiful evening and overnight for Labrador as we head into the early morning hours. Temperatures are going to dip again into the minus teens, flirting with the minus 20s in some areas, but it's going to be pretty breezy across the big land, anywhere from 30 to or 40 to 50 kilometers per hour. That's the story for the island as well, as you know, temperatures into the minus double digits with those breezy northwest winds, anywhere from 40 to 50 kilometers per hour. Down along the southern portion, that will be around minus 7 to minus 9. But because of those winds and those cool temperatures, you can expect wind chills overnight tonight close to the minus 20s, minus teens for the Avalon. This is through the midnight hour. And then we're looking at flirting with the minus 30s for most of Labrador, and not much of a change as we head through tomorrow morning as well. Anywhere from feeling more like minus 12 to minus 22 through areas of central. Tomorrow is going to be beautiful for the most part. Ridge of high pressure dominating the weather. Might see a few cloudy periods, even a few stray flurries for the northern peninsula into the afternoon, and then cloudy periods the story for Labrador as well. We'll see more increasing cloud though as the day goes on, and that's because the next weather maker is going to move in, and we'll start to see some snow after midnight for southwestern portions of the island. That'll spread across the island as we head into Sunday. So as far as temperatures go tomorrow, going to stay cool in the east. We're looking at about minus 6 for St. John's, and then a little bit warmer as you head towards the west coast. Note those winds will be different as well. Out of the southwest for you along the coast, or the west coast anyway, and then we're sticking with those northwesterlies as you head further east. Temperatures will be mild again for Labrador, and again you can think that southwest flow, minus single digits with the potential for some flurries late day for Lab West. Now, mentioned the storm that's going to move in for Sunday. This is just a quick look Saturday night into Sunday as to the snowfall amounts expected. This will take us really through Monday morning. Going to watch the system to bring some rain as well for southern areas, but I'll break all of that down for you coming up.
Thanks so much, Ashley. Well, a highlight of our week on Here and Now has been seeing what some folks are up to during the lockdown. We asked viewers to send us pictures of lockdown life, and boy, did you ever deliver.
That's right. We received more than 100 pictures this week from every corner of the province. It's brought us a lot of smiles, and yeah, we could all use a little smile at this time. So we want to share a few more of them.
Yes, you may not be able to go to Marble Mountain or White Hills, but Chris Hodge and Spencer Wilkins strapped on their snowboards for a ride in Pippi Park here in St. John's, and they brought their dog, Kiki, I think that's how you say it, along with them. So this probably counts as her walk for the day. What a beautiful pooch.
Oh, yes. Building a backyard skating rink seems to be very popular right now with the lockdown. We've seen several great photos like this one from Denise Flynn in Forto. Denise says that their son Marcus and daughter Nicole have been out enjoying the rink every day with some of that beautiful Labrador sunshine.
Gorgeous. Well, so many of you have inspired us with your arts and crafts projects. I think we're seeing the wrong photo here now.
Cute dog, why not see it again? But
I'll look at Kiki again. But hopefully we'll get that picture up for you. Let's move on to the next one.
Yes, so check this out. Sarah Chalk sent us this picture of Henry, Molly, and Zoe hanging out by the river that runs through their backyard. And, I hope what a beautiful day to be out there enjoying that sunshine and the snow.
Yes, and we've certainly seen a lot of wintry pictures this week, and that usually means a lot of snow and ice. But in Burgeo, Lexi Roach and her little pal Rosie can pass the time in lockdown on a sandy beach at Sandbanks Provincial Park. Yeah, just a little bit jealous there.
Just missing the umbrella and, all the beach picnic. Still cold, but.
Yeah, another cute dog, though. I love it.
Once again, we do want to say a big thank you to everyone who shared their photos of lockdown life.
Yes, it really brought a lot of joy into our shows this week. So we hope you keep getting outside, keep making those arts and crafts, and keep finding ways to not just pass the time, but make the most of it too.
Not only was it severe and unusual in terms of time and place, but it stayed on the line.
More problems facing Muskrat Falls. This time it's ice buildup on the transmission lines.
Coming up next, CEO Stan Marshall explains how Nalcor is dealing with it and what it means for the project. Welcome back. Well, it's still early in 2021, but it's already been another rough year so far for the controversial Muskrat Falls project. But as Terry Roberts reports, the man in charge at Nalcor remains confident the project will be completed this year.
Some unusual scenes in the air above Labrador this winter. A rare ice storm in January tested the new transmission line from central Labrador to the Strait of Belle Isle. As usual, Mother Nature had her way.
Not only was it severe and unusual in terms of time and place, but it stayed on the line.
The two wires at the very top of the towers are called electrode lines, or grounding wires. In nearly 24 places, these wires were damaged by all the weight. Some fell to the ground. Some of the metal spans that hold them in place were also damaged, forcing Nalcor to mobilize specialists to initiate emergency repairs. In one case, crews had to clear snow over a distance of 65 kilometers in order to access the line. Then earlier this month, a section of the actual power line near Forto dropped to the ground. A bolt securing it in place failed, interrupting the flow of power to the Avalon Peninsula and testing of a new computer software to operate the 1,100-kilometer link between Muskrat Falls and the Avalon Peninsula. All this raises yet more questions about this troubled hydro project. Firstly, shouldn't these lines be designed to handle extreme weather events? And secondly, should we even trust the design of this vital power link? Stan Marshall says these and other questions will be investigated, but he says certain times failure should be expected.
Was the design criteria appropriate? Were there very peculiar things here? Were, for example, faulty pieces of equipment installed or faulty installation? All those things were taken care of, and maybe designs will be modified.
It took weeks, but all the damage has now been fixed. Electricity is again flowing to the Avalon Peninsula.
We now have a situation where we can operate the lines in bipole, and most evenings we're bringing power in from Labrador. We brought in up to about 225 megawatts, and normally it's around 150 megawatts.
What does all this say about the reliability of our electricity system in the Muskrat era? What if Muskrat Power had been the primary source of our power this winter? What if Holyrood, for example, had been decommissioned? Would there have been rolling blackouts? Stan Marshall wouldn't answer that question directly, but a study is underway to determine the fate of the Holyrood thermal generating station.
The higher the level of reliability you want, for the most part, the higher the cost. So people are studying that, and we will abide by what decisions are made by others.
Marshall is not surprised by any of this winter's events. He predicted it years ago, long before he took the helm at Nalcor.
I said that the terrain and the difficulty would cause reliability issues, stresses on the towers. So I knew all this 25 years ago. And the people who went into this should have known it and designed it. But I wasn't around when the tower was designed or built. No, it can be made to work. Otherwise, I wouldn't be at it.
Meanwhile, one of the 4 turbines at Muskrat is generating power, and Marshall remains confident the finish line is near.
I have a great deal of confidence that by the end of the year, we'll be basically fully operational.
Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
So what could all of this mean for the final price tag for Muskrat Falls? It's already above $13 billion, nearly double the original estimate. Marshall says there will likely be minor revisions, but says it's too early to tell.
Returning now to today's medical briefing, while schools on the Avalon will remain online only for at least the next 2 weeks, students in other parts of the province will be returning to class next Wednesday. With respect to precautions and PPE for teachers and students, Dr. Janice Fitzgerald had this to say.
Teachers should wear level 1 mask and eye protection at all times when in close contact with students and/or staff. Students in grades 4 and above will be required to wear a non-medical mask at all times except when eating or drinking or engaged in physical activity. We do encourage masks to be worn whenever possible. For students in grades K to 3, non-medical masks are recommended if they can be worn consistently in accordance with the non-medical mask guidelines. They will not be required. Students that are not able to cohort need to maintain a distance of at least 2 meters from one another. K to 12 schools and post-secondary institutions on the Avalon under Alert Level 5 will continue with online learning for the time being, as COVID continues to circulate in the region.
Can you expand on why we're asking teachers and daycare workers to double up now?
So face shields and eye protection are used to protect the eyes, not to protect the breathing. The mask is to protect the breathing. You don't have to wear a face shield. It can be eye protection. That can be goggles. So what I said was eye protection in a mask. We are still learning about this virus. We don't know exactly how easily it spreads through the eyes. Just to be cautious and to provide the most protection we can. We want teachers to be protected and have their eyes protected as well, which is why we made that recommendation. So a face shield is not about protecting your breathing. That's what the mask is for. Face shield is about protecting the eyes.
A draw right to the button by Yusuf Papaniemi. It will be a final score of 10-4, but it's a gold medal for Canada. Let the party begin.
Gushue strikes gold. The team's Olympic win was 15 years ago this week. We're reliving that golden moment after the break. You probably remember where you were when you saw the moment 15 years ago this week, Team Gushue won Olympic gold.
What a moment. We thought we'd celebrate that win again tonight by looking back at game day. Here's a story filed by our own Chris O'Neill Yates.
The province all but shut down for the event. Schools closed at noon. Shops were virtually empty. In the workplace, no one got much work done.
Oh, there's no concentration going on today. None.
People gathered in pubs, at their offices. 500 people crammed into the gymnasium at Brad Gushue's old high school. And at the St. John's Curling Club, home to Team Canada, hundreds came out to root for the Brad Gushue rink.
We curl, so we wanted to be here with our friends and just be part of the whole celebration.
Canadians are up for the goal for one, and had that, their Newfoundlanders up for the goal, so it makes it more interesting.
Even Premier Danny Williams in Ottawa for the Premier's Summit took time out to watch the game in his hotel room. There were a few anxious moments as Finland took that early lead. But when Team Canada took the gold, a thunderous roar swept across the province. Patrons at this pub broke out into a rousing chorus of the Ode to Newfoundland. Local celebrity Mark Critch savored the win.
Canada, enjoy the medal that Newfoundland gave you.
What a great moment. My goodness.
Team Gushue looks a little younger than they do these days.
Wow. Yeah,
unlike the rest of us.
Of course, right? Brings back
Haven't aged
memories.
a bit in the last 15 years.
And we now have a highway named after them as well.
Doesn't get much better than that. Of course, the celebration didn't stop that night. It carried over to the St. John's International Airport a few days later.
Yes, here's a slice of what it looked like when Team Gushue touched down from Torino.
This was the moment everyone had waited for, a chance to be a part of history, the victorious return of the Gushue team with their gold medals.
Very nice. This is awesome. This is very cool. A lot of fun. Wow.
It took about an hour for Brad and his crew to get through the crowds and out the door, but they didn't mind. It was a way of saying thanks to the fans who'd stayed up so late for their homecoming.
We came to see Brad, of course. We haven't missed one of his games. We've watched it all. And every time he said, "Hi, Mom," we all cried.
Brad hopes the team's victory will send just one message to fellow Newfoundlanders and Labradorians.
There's no reason we can't succeed in anything we want to do. It may take a little extra work, but if you want it, you can do it.
That message is already getting through to some of the children who stayed up way past their bedtime.
People always say that like Newfies are dumb and stuff, and you know, just to see that like people who like, you know, came from here and curled here, went that far, and you know, won gold is pretty impressive, if you ask me.
The celebrations then moved on to the St. John's Curling Club, home turf for Brad and his team. And even though it was now the middle of the night, no one was ready to say goodnight on such a historic occasion. Teresa O'Leary, CBC News, St. John's.
Wow, what an epic celebration. Well, from one sport to another, the pandemic is forcing people to get creative when it comes to outdoor activities. Skijoring is a Norwegian sport. It literally means ski driving, and it involves a skier being pulled by a horse, dog, or vehicle. A student in PEI and her pup are giving it a go. Just take a look.
My name is Leah. I'm a fourth-year vet student, and this is Sky. She's a 2-year-old border collie. So today I figured I'd take Sky out. I call it Skijoring. It's a pretty popular sport, more so in Scandinavian countries. Essentially, I go on cross-country skis, but you can use any type of skis. And she has a harness on, so she'll pull me just like I'm in a sled. The Sky is in some ways your typical border collie, always energetic, ready to go anytime I say the word. I just had my downhill skis out one day and I just hooked her up to her harness and we just played around a bit, and I had no idea that there's a whole sport to this and everything. So when I found that out, that was pretty exciting. We just started Skijoring this year, but I do get her to kind of pull me on my bike and when I'm running sometimes. So we've been doing that for about a year. I mean, I think she likes it. She's a border collie, so she's pretty energetic, and so anytime we can get out together in the nature, it's lovely.
Oh, there we go. Yes, hi. Hi. I know. She says you never let me lick your face.
I think it's really good for dogs like her with a lot of energy to give them, you know, something a little bit different than just a walk in the park.
Oh, you can tell that Sky, the border collie, just loves that.
Carolyn, you got 2 dogs. You think they'd be
do.
up for it?
I was thinking about that, you know, Peter, but they're both kind of small dogs. They're like 30 pounds, so maybe if I put 2 of them on a leash, maybe they'd be able to pull me.
And I guess the other question then is, what happens when the dog decides that they want to go and you want to stop?
Yeah.
But apparently Leah says that, you know, Sky the border collie is very reliable, so she doesn't have to worry about that.
Time to find out who's celebrating. Happy 50th anniversary to Bob and Bun Vincent of Trepassey. Patrick and Jane Murray of Grand Falls, Windsor are celebrating their 65th wedding anniversary. Happy 55th anniversary to Stanley and Gladys Powell of Stoneville. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Eric and Melita Haley from St. Lawrence. Anniversary greetings going out to Fred and Verinia Butler of Red Harbor. It's their 52nd anniversary.
Happy 58th anniversary to Jack and Beatrice Han of Burgeo. Happy 61st anniversary to Guy and Floss Freak of Glenwood. Congratulations to Ivan and Jean Hodder from Buckens. It's their 69th wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary to Jesse and Minnie Sibley of Ramia, who are celebrating 50 years of marriage. Happy 55th anniversary to Wilfred and Georgina Kinsella of St. Anthony, now living in Deer Lake.
Anniversary greetings going out to Harry and Shirley LeDrew of Lawrenceston, who are celebrating their 64th anniversary. Best wishes to Carl and Maude Elliott of Raleigh, who are celebrating 54 years of marriage. Martin and Augusta Goff are celebrating a golden anniversary. They're from St. Joseph's, St. Mary's Bay. Congratulations to Bonnie and Calvin Evans of Harry's Harbor. They're celebrating their 58th anniversary. Wishing Howard and Shirley Tapp a happy 51st wedding anniversary. They're from Port aux Basques and now live in Lindsay, Ontario.
Happy 72nd anniversary. It's a big one for Bert and Dorothy Knoll in Corner Brook. Best wishes to Russell and Lillian Reed of Reedville. They're celebrating their 62nd anniversary. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Pat and Marie Gorman of Harbor, Maine. Happy 54th anniversary to Larry and Eileen Wheeler from Twillingate, but they're now living in St. John's. Dawn and Louise Sweetapple of Glovertown are celebrating their 71st wedding anniversary. Congratulations.
Happy 56th wedding anniversary to Ray and Eva Bungay of Harbor Breton. Wishing Betty and Wilbur Moss of Gander a happy 65th wedding anniversary. Happy 55th anniversary to Dave and Violet Strong of Grand Falls, Windsor. And it's a golden anniversary for Albert and Kathleen Mulrooney. Congratulations. Happy 53rd anniversary to Elwood and Lorena Blanchard of Meadows.
Watson and Eliza Vivian are from Gander. They're celebrating their 69th wedding anniversary. Best wishes to Bob and Pearl Young of Grand Falls, Windsor. Today is their 55th anniversary. Happy 63rd anniversary to Roy and Dinah Collins from Hare Bay. Happy 62nd anniversary to Reginald and Irene Elliott of Raleigh. 64th anniversary greetings going out to Lester and Grace Hines of Trinity, Bonavista Bay.
Now to some birthdays. Happy birthday to Violet Goodyear of Carmenville, who is 96 years old today. Happy 98th birthday to Eva Grammy Elridge in Corner Brook. Birthday greetings going out to Pearl Crew, who is celebrating her 100th birthday tomorrow in Lewisport. Happy birthday to Dorothy Critch of St. Mary's, who is celebrating her 91st birthday this Sunday. Happy birthday to Mary Genge Bowers of Corner Brook. She's turning 95.
Happy 91st birthday to Rachel Spencer of Pass Island, now living in Harbor Breton, who turned 91 this week. Happy 92nd birthday to Annie Boland of Mount Pearl, now living in Conception Bay South. Happy 94th birthday to Luetta Inder of St. John's. Happy 100th birthday tomorrow to Marguerite Garrett Mina. She is from Hamilton, Ontario. Wishing Miriam Vardy a happy 90th birthday. She's from Harbor Mill and now lives in Marystown.
Happy 90th birthday to Sheila Donahue from Fox Cove, Buren, now living in Paradise. And here's one we don't see very often, Peter. A very big happy birthday going out to Bertha Randall. She is turning 106 years old.
Wow.
Ms. Randall was born in Catalina, but's been living in St. John's for many years now.
Right now, she's a resident of St. Luke's Home. Happy birthday from all of her friends and family who wish they could be with her today.
Happy birthday.
This weather update is brought to you by the Healthcare Foundation Home Lottery. Order tickets now at hcfhomelottery.ca.
Saturday certainly looking like the best day of the weekend to get out and enjoy some of that winter weather that we've been seeing. But Saturday night into Sunday, everything changes. Let's take a look at the future tracker just to time that out. As we head after midnight into the early morning hours on Sunday, we're already going to start to see some heavy snow for southwestern portions of the province. As we head towards the morning and lunchtime, we're going to see that heavier snow head towards central and eastern areas. But the track of the low is really going to play a role in who sees what as far as that rain-snow line mix goes. Looks at this point like it'll be for the southern areas of the island. If it tracks a little bit further north, you may get into more rain than a rain-snow mix. But that's the story really for the Burin Peninsula and southern Avalon as we head into Sunday night. We could even end as some drizzle for portions of the Avalon. But it does look like a heavy snow event. Most areas will see somewhere between 10 to 20 centimeters from the west coast through to central as well as the Avalon. Now I have 15 to 25 centimeters along the southern portion, but again, any track north is going to push that rain-snow line towards the coast. So right now I'm banking on inland areas, but again, that track will really determine that. As you head towards Green Bay, White Bay, and areas around there, you're looking at about 5 to 10 centimeters and then significantly less for the northern peninsula. Trace to 5 centimeters is the story for you. So as far as temperatures go through the day, we're looking at the 3 or 4 degree range. Again, that's why we should see a change over to some rain. Right now, keeping the temperature around the 0 degree mark for St. John's, but it's going to be windy, so we could see whiteout conditions at times. But because that temperature is hovering around 0 degrees, it'll probably be a really wet snow, more dense than the flurries that we've been seeing the last couple of snowfall events. And then other than that, Labrador fairly quiet. Maybe southeastern portions will see some flurries, but other than that, about -16 to -12 for northern and western portions. Temperatures will be warmer on Monday into the minus single digits and then still unsettled as we see our next weather maker move in for Tuesday. Tuesday night into Wednesday. Again, temperatures hovering in and around the 0 degree mark or just a few degrees above. So there's a good chance we could see everything change over. More areas we'll see that change over as well. Certainly through central this is possible, and even into western Newfoundland as we see our temperatures bump up a couple of degrees above 0. Now looking at Labrador, we're looking at temperatures into the minus single digits for the foreseeable future through Wednesday. Periods of snow will continue as well, -4 to as much as 0 degrees as we head into Wednesday. And then for Lab West, same thing, but your temperatures will be hovering around -10 as we get into the middle of next week. So we had a beautiful day today. This is the scene in Channel Harbor. Thank you to Sandra for sharing that beautiful photo with us. And if you have any weather photos, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, before we leave you tonight, we do have some breaking news at this hour. There's been a death at the lockup at Supreme Court in St. John's. The RNC say they responded to a sudden death just after 2 o'clock.
Yeah, they said a 48-year-old man being held at the jail has died. An investigation is underway. We'll continue to follow that story and bring you updates through the weekend on our website and here and now on Monday.
Okay, well, that's it for us tonight on this Friday evening. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, and thanks so much for watching.
Yeah, so much COVID-related news you can catch up on our website, cbc.ca/nl. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Good night.